Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Well, let's get to it. Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the 3 series that I presented on the 4 skillful efforts, the 4 skillful intentions, and the 5 potentials and 5 powers. This offers you a tremendous amount of powerful material, and I truly hope that you will get involved with these practices and gain the benefits that they offer. As you well know by now, if you've been following any of my material, in order to live a fully engaged life, this is not some external thing where you just get a little more money or, start to live extravagantly. That is not what is meant by living a fully engaged life. So if you've been following my stuff, you realize that in order to truly live what is meant by a fully engaged life, you first have to spend some time working on yourself. It begins there. That's how it is for all of us. You have to begin developing a state of mindfulness, and then from there you engage various meditative practices to help weaken the ego, allow it to die, and then from there you get into meditation. And then you go into no mind, and you go beyond the mind, right? So you understand the path. So all of those things have to be worked on, and they don't have to take a lifetime or multiple lifetimes, as is often said. You can do it in this lifetime. It's just, how bad do you want it? How diligently are you willing to practice? You can do it. You can have it in this lifetime, and you can enjoy the fruits of living a fully engaged life. So in addition to that, while you're working on those things, many of which I've presented for you here, absolutely free, through nearly 190 episodes. I've given you all the material you need to get started. And then, of course, I offer some additional programs on my website at www.expansionmastery.com. So while you're working on all that, let me give you 8 things that you can start doing right now. These are the 8 easiest ways to begin living a fully engaged life right now. In other words, you can do it right now, gain the benefit of it right now, and start getting a glimpse of what it is to live more fully as you are engaging the practices and stepping ever closer on the path to awakening. As a bonus, allow me to begin with the first 3 things that you don't want to do. Okay? If you intend to live a fully engaged life, there are 3 things that you want to make sure you're avoiding. The first is dogma. There's no reason for dogma in your practices. Dogma doesn't serve anything. It's not divine. It's man-made. Simple. The second is drugs. You don't need any drugs. Stay off the drugs. Get off all the drugs you can. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just saying get off all the prescription medications that you possibly can and avoid any other drugs. Drugs inhibit true spiritual awakening. Drugs such as LSD and marijuana and mushrooms and all these other things that are out there, they give you fake, artificial, chemically induced hallucinations. They're a trip, right? It's not real. It's not real. And in the process, you may be damaging your brain. So what we want to do is remain drug-free for true awakening. And then the third is to be drama-free. Live free of drama. When you're free of drama, you're not feeding the ego. It's tremendously important. So those are 3 very important things that you want to avoid, because authentic spirituality is dogma-free, drug-free, and drama-free. All right, so I'm breaking it down for you. I'm sharing with you practical wisdom. Practical wisdom, right? If you tuned into the last episode, you know all about wisdom. And spirituality is meant to be practical wisdom. So those are three things that you want to avoid that shouldn't be in real, true, authentic spirituality. And now let me share with you the 8 easiest ways to begin living a fully engaged life right here, right now. You ready? All right, let's do this. Number 1, lose the earbuds. Stop tuning out the world and tune into your life. So many people, whether they're driving their cars, walking around, no matter what they're doing, they're wearing earbuds. I see people trying to do Tai Chi forms wearing earbuds. You can't tune out life all around you in favor of something else. It's incredibly dangerous while you're driving because then you can't hear the sirens of emergency vehicles, right? We have younger people that are walking down railroad tracks for whatever reason, wearing earbuds and getting killed by trains because they can't hear them. But I'm seeing this increasing more and more over the past few years. Everybody walking around with earbuds in all of the time, blasting whatever they're listening to, just listening to that, tuning out the sounds of nature, tuning out the world around them. This is not at all conducive to living a fully engaged life. When you're living a fully engaged life, you are fully engaged, not disconnected. Earbuds disconnect you from the world around you. Now, if you're doing a particular meditative practice and maybe you're using the assistance of brainwave frequency music or something, so you put the earbuds in, absolutely fine. There's a time and a place. Not 24/7. Not as you're out there driving or riding your bike or walking around. Hey, you are setting yourself up to be a victim. You're very easy to take down because you're never even going to hear somebody coming that wants to mug you or rape you or something else, right? So we have to look at this in a practical sense. We want to keep ourselves safe and we want to keep ourselves tuned in to life. I want to hear the wind rustling in the leaves. I want to hear the birds singing. Right? I want to be able to hear the children in the yard next door laughing and playing. All of these things we want to be able to hear, not tune them out all the time. So if we're going to enjoy the use of earbuds or headphones, we want to do so in the appropriate time and place, not every time we leave the house. So understand, if you're walking around out in the world and you've got these earbuds in all the time and you got whatever type of music you're listening to or whatever it is you're listening to, you are tuning out the world around you. This form of disconnection is not living a fully engaged life. Simple, right? Told you they were the easiest ways. Take the earbuds off, leave them at home when you go out, and use them in moderation. Don't allow them to become one more piece of tech that you grow addicted to and controlled by. Number 2, disconnect from the face-sucking, location tracking spying device that we call a cell phone. Make sure that you stop allowing yourself to be absorbed, sucked into that tiny screen. Start lifting your head and looking around you. That's your life that you're missing. It's being taken from you, and it's being taken from you right in front of your face, and you don't even know it. You're not even paying attention to it. Take back control and overcome the addiction to these stupid cell phones. Most of what you're looking at on that little screen is completely worthless and senseless anyway. And the more we get drawn into staring at that little screen, the more mindless we become. It takes you in the very opposite direction of mindfulness. If you have an addiction to this and you can't go even a short amount of time, not even 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, without picking that thing up and looking at it, without checking who's doing what on social media or texting you or whatever it is, playing a game or what have you, it's a problem. Okay? Every time you look into that screen, you are tuning out the life around you. You are allowing yourself to be absorbed into this virtual reality that doesn't exist, and you are favoring that over your actual life in reality. That life will soon pass you by, and you will have surrendered it to that stupid little piece of tech that you're holding in your hand. Are you going to honestly tell me you would be on your deathbed holding onto your phone, saying that, I'm glad that I spent all my time looking at this phone? Really? Because there might be a mental issue if you're able to say that, don't you think? You missed your life. Don't allow it to happen. Leave it at home. Turn it off. Engage in some physical activities. Get out there and engage other people in your life, your friends, your family, your loved ones, whatever. Get out there and live life. You can't live life staring into that stupid little screen. So that's two big ones already, right? We got to get rid of earbuds, and we got to get rid of the cell phone. You don't have to get rid of it. It can be of use, right? There are practical uses for a cell phone. You just can't be addicted to it. Be willing to leave this stupid thing home. Be willing to turn it off. Look at it maybe a few times a day, or if that, and then make sure that you unplug. Go for a week or two. When my wife and I went to the Himalayas, trekking throughout the Himalayas in Nepal and Tibet and Bhutan, we even made a stop in Thailand. We left our phones turned off and at home. We had no phone for a month, and it was fantastic. So good. You have no idea what that thing is doing to you until you reclaim your sense of self from it. I know. I can already hear everybody clicking the button and turning this episode off. I don't want to hear that. I'm not going to do that, right? Oh, we could hear that button clicking resounding throughout the world. But this is what we have to do. I'm just giving you the practical, honest truth. You cannot accomplish awakening. You cannot live a fully engaged life. You cannot become mindful if you are spending all your time disconnected from reality, staring into a cell phone and listening to earbuds. You could better spend that time engaged in practices that would yield some amazing, life-changing, transformative results. Well, believe me, I know most of you tuning in here and listening to this podcast, if you're bothering to listen to this podcast, I know that you're not suffering from these addictions. So then we have to try to help those who are. And we can't make anybody do anything, but we can try and help. That's all we can do. And we can lead by example. All right, number 3, it's time to mature. It's time to set aside all the little boy and girl games of video games, board games, and competitive sports. That's right. Those are all childish games, and they serve to distract us from experiencing our actual life. We need to put these things aside and get out there and engage our life. Do some meaningful things. Swim in the ocean, hike up a mountain. You see what I'm saying? Something incredible. Have an experience. We want to remember that the function of board games was that it gives us something to do, like in the winter when we're snowed in, or if it's a rainy, cold day outside and the family just wants to stay in by the fire and get warm and do some family activity. Or if a bunch of friends get together, they want to do that on an evening on a weekend or something. But I'm talking about children here, people. I'm talking about children, or doing this with your children. But today we're seeing all these 30, 40, 50-year-old people that's all they want to do with their life is play board games or video games. Or, of course, people of all ages that are stuck in front of the TV or spending ungodly amounts of money going to yell at players of a competitive sports team. It's time for us to grow up. We need to mature. If you want to live a fully engaged life, You have no use for those things because you know those things are nothing but a waste of time, a distraction from everything that is real and everything that is beneficial. Again, imagine how incredible your life could be, how fully you could be living a fully engaged life if you had all of that time that you spent playing all those games and watching sports and all of that stuff. Imagine the amount of time and money you would have to put into your actual spiritual expansion. Think about that. Think about that. If you even took a quarter of that time and invested it in meditative practices and meditation, you would be a totally different person. So do you see how these first three things serve to disconnect us from what's important? They're all distractions. They're all disconnections. They're all forms of entertainment that keep us from engaging in anything real and beneficial. And it's the real and beneficial that leads us to living a fully engaged life. Number 4, we continue the distractions. You need to stop vegging out in front of the TV, sitting in front of Netflix, and watching stuff on YouTube. You need to give up these forms of entertainment, or at least use them very sparingly. They distract you from living your life. Start participating in your own life. Wouldn't it be cool if you were able to live a life that other people would want to watch on YouTube, or that they would want to make an actual series of on Netflix? Can you imagine? Well, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Our life is meant to be an adventure, not sitting in front of these screens and staring at a very particular flicker rate. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We've got to break this hypnotic effect. We've got to say no to the brainwashing, the conditioning, and programming. We've got to get out there and live free. We've got to live our lives. We've got to be able to engage ourselves and stop throwing our life away. I think it's been about 12 years now since my wife and I had a TV. We have a TV, only one, and it's not connected to anything. We just plug it in if we're going to watch a movie or something. On a rare occasion, we'd like to do that. But otherwise, we don't watch television at all, ever. Okay? We don't watch Netflix. We have no membership. And it's very rare we watch anything on YouTube. Okay? A lot of the how-to videos are very helpful. They can be nice. See, that's responsible use. But when you're sitting there using it as a form of entertainment, and I see a lot of children doing that today, they don't watch television anymore. The programming is complete junk. It doesn't even appeal to children. But there's a whole bunch of stuff, mindless, stupid things on YouTube that are appealing to them. So now they're sitting in front of YouTube and watching all of these things. I know some family members of mine, when we visited them in Washington, they did the same thing. They're sitting there and they're watching these weird videos on YouTube all evening, and my wife and I were just bored because we're not entertained by it. It seemed very immature. It seemed very pointless, and we just don't care for that. Life is meant to be more meaningful, more mindful than this. It is time we stood up and reclaimed our lives as human beings, and we started to actually live. We started to interact with one another in a healthy, unified manner. We start to treat our neighbors with respect. We start to treat ourselves with respect. We engage our lives. It's a wonderful, glorious thing, and yet everybody is just throwing it away. So before we move into number 5, do you see the trend here? Look at the 3 things that I gave you that you kind of want to avoid in authentic spirituality. Dogma, drama, drugs, creating beliefs around dogma, getting involved in senseless drama, taking a bunch of drugs, putting on earbuds, becoming entranced by our cell phones, just vegging out to video games, board games, competitive sports, television, Netflix, YouTube. Do you understand all of those things serve one primary purpose: to distract you from anything real, to distract you from making progress on a spiritual path to prevent your spiritual expansion. It's time we awakened enough to reclaim our life and start living it in a more mindful, meaningful manner. Number 5, do one thing to improve your physical fitness and overall health. Just start with one thing. Get into your physical body. Get to like yourself in your physical form again. No, that's not truly who we are, but it is a vehicle of sorts. It allows us to experience the fully engaged life. And the better condition it is in, the better it'll serve you. The more you can enjoy your life. So, one thing that you can do, this is super easy, right? Easy way to begin living a fully engaged life right now. Find one physical activity that you can do that will improve your overall fitness and health. Couldn't be easier. Find something you like to do. Stick to it. Number 6, begin doing one thing to improve your mental fitness and mental health. Read meaningful books, not garbage, romance novels and all of these other fantasy things. Read something with some substance, something educational that can help you to grow. Engage in some meditative practices. See, all of these things will be productive to the development of the mental faculties, as well as add to your mental health and your mental fitness. So find one thing that you want to do to challenge your mind, to work your mind a little bit. Start to make it sharper, stronger, and more focused. Number 7, begin doing one thing that is spiritually meaningful. What would that be? If you could choose just one simple thing, one easy thing that you could start doing today, right now, that would be spiritually meaningful to you, what would it be? What would it be? A great one would be to meditate, especially right now, keeping your mind strong, keeping the spirit strong, starting to awaken, developing the ability to live a fully engaged life. It's meditation that it is an integral part of achieving that. Number 8, smile more often. And smile at people more often. That's right. Aim it at people. Take aim. Hey, fire those pearly whites off at somebody. Most of the time, they're going to smile back. And that makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. This is part of human harmony. It is part of unity that we need this year. We need this. Humanity needs this right now. We need to smile at one another instead of ignoring one another, pretending that people don't even exist, or being angry and hateful towards them. Smile at them. Flash them a genuine smile. Say, hey, how you doing? Right? It's so easy. And yet we don't do it enough. We don't do it enough because we get so stuck in our heads and so self-absorbed by the ego that we just tune everybody around us out and we treat them so rudely. We need to stop that. We need to smile more. Now, some of you know what the inner smile is, right? It's a form of internal alchemy. It's a meditative practice. You can engage in that too. Perform the inner smile more. I believe it was a Taoist practice that's most commonly taught, if not produced by the famous master Mantak Chia, who is an incredible, incredible teacher. But then we have this simple outside version. Just start to smile more. Enjoy your life more. Enjoy yourself more. Enjoy everything more. And share that enjoyment with others around you. Stop being so afraid. Smile. This will help you raise your vibration as well. Just by smiling more. You can feel it happen. You can feel when you're sitting there smiling, enjoying yourself. You can feel your vibrational frequency start to increase. And it feels great. And that's where you want it to stay all the time. That's because that's where it's supposed to be all the time, or at least the majority of it. There are people that believe we weren't wired for that. I believe they were wrong. I think the ordinary mind is not wired for that. But I think as we awaken, as we go beyond mind, and we attain a sense of spiritual expansion, you better believe you have the capacity to live that way the vast majority of the time. So why wouldn't you? Right? How easy is that? Just smile. Smile more yourself. Maybe laugh a little more, but smile at other people. And hold that smile, hold that vibration. The response from the other person doesn't make a bit of difference. It doesn't factor in at all. If they choose to smile back, great, that helps them. Fantastic. That's the best outcome. Hey, but if they choose to ignore you, that's okay. It shouldn't shake your vibration at all. If they give you the middle finger and tell you where to go, right? It could happen, especially in certain cities around the U.S. It could happen. If it were, so what? Just keep smiling. Keep smiling. Don't allow their negativity to overpower your positivity. Just keep emanating that positivity through your smile as much as you can into the world, because the world needs it right now more than ever. You need it right now more than ever. And it's the easiest thing to do. So there you are. 8 of the easiest things you can do right now to start living a more fully engaged life. So simple. Okay? This gets you started. Pay attention to this as you start to live this way. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to how much better you feel, how much more you get to experience in your life instead of wasting time, throwing your life away, surrendering it. Feel how good it is to attain a sense of mastery over yourself. When you do, you will begin to glimpse what it is to live a fully engaged life. Don't forget to engage those mindfulness practices, meditative practices, and indeed meditation itself, my friends. You got to get in there and do some meditation. Super, super powerful. It is the medication that you truly need. It will cure what's ailing you. And real meditation is easy as well, because you're doing nothing. If you're doing anything, it's a meditative practice. In meditation, there's silence, there's stillness, there is nothing. That's the beauty of it. While you begin living a more fully engaged life, please stop by www.expansionmastery.com. Grab your Expansion Mastery book signed by me at 75% off while supplies last. Just put in the discount code Heaven on Earth and you will receive your immediate discount on that book. You get a signed copy of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life, for a mere $5. When was the last time you had an opportunity to change your life for $5? You can help me out too by going to social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and sharing this podcast as well as other posts. Make sure and get it out to friends, family, spread the word, help them engage in something real too, help them to have a better life and engage the adventure of their life as opposed to hiding behind these screens and disconnecting from reality. Help them out. When you help me, we're able to help them. And it all goes around, so everybody wins, and I love that win-win-win situation. So let's make sure we're doing that. Share, like, subscribe, do all of those things, and I'm working diligently to update all of my social media platforms, website, everything, and to bring you new exclusive content that is designed to help you take a massive leap forward during this time of the consciousness shift. Until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in all of your practices and in your life. Get out there and live it. Take care.